So you said that she was mad to partner with you, and I know you were saying that as a joke, but I also suspect that it's not a particularly wise thing for people in her field of inquiry to do right now, because there does seem to be an almost monolithic enforcement of an official narrative when it comes to the origins of COVID and the treatment of COVID and the demonization of scientists that sort of deviate from that. Has she experienced that? I mean, I follow her on Twitter and I know she's one tough cookie, but I imagine, and I want to get into this more, but I imagine that lots of financial incentives and professional incentives push against anybody questioning the official narrative.
Yes, Alina has come under enormous pressure from senior scientists and virologists. She's been subject to some pretty unpleasant criticism. There are, some veiled threats that are really quite unfunny. She and I are both mildly concerned about our own security, but I don't want to go into that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievably brave thing for a young scientist quite early in her career to do. But she just kept thinking, I'm sorry, this subject's too important to back off. She wants to have a conventional scientific career, and I'm sure she will have a brilliant one. But by the middle of this year, you had a bunch of people who were still trying to discredit her, but you had another bunch of people who were inviting her to the top table to discuss this topic because they realized they couldn't leave her out. We're beginning to treat her as a senior expert on this kind of stuff. Now, there's no such thing as an expert on the origin of COVID-19, if you see what I mean. We're all scrambling to catch up, and some of us know more genomics or more virology or more epidemiology than others. But you need to know all of those things and a whole lot more to understand this topic. It's been a steep learning curve, but I've known, it's incredibly impressive to me what this person has achieved. And if they thought they could bully her into silence, they picked on the wrong woman.
Yeah, it just dawned on me that it reminds me a little bit of some of the heroes in your last book on innovation, pushing against the conventional wisdom and ultimately becoming almost heroic by persisting against that. And that to me is like how science is supposed to be, right?
Absolutely. Pretty well all great scientific ideas start out espoused by heretics who are persecuted for pursuing them. Charles Darwin being an obvious one. But that doesn't mean that all heretics are geniuses. Quite the reverse. Most of the mavericks who say they've got a brand new scientific idea are talking nonsense. So you do have to aim off for the fact that not everybody who's a contrarian who's pushing against conventional wisdom can be trusted, but nor can you afford to ignore every single one and just assume that conventional wisdom is correct. It was Richard Feynman who said, science is the belief in the ignorance of experts.